Howdy everybody, it's Angelo from Daily Vitamoves, and we just had a new rain and the wind has been blowing and the air is nice and fresh. And today I wanted to share a fresh new look into releasing tight hamstrings, because people ask me, hey, what are some stretches that I can do for my hamstrings, because they're always tight and I never get to seem to get them to loosen up. So there is a case where you may not want to be stretching your hamstrings. So I'm going to show you something today, an idea that you can use if that's the case. So let's get to it. Okay, so there are two simple reasons why your hamstrings may be tight. Without getting into the complexities, I'll just briefly describe here. If you check yourself in the mirror, your side view, or have somebody look at you from the side, if your pelvis is a little bit more in this position, this is called the anterior tilt of the pelvis. You notice that this causes a little bit more curve in the low back. Well, there probably is a lot of tightness here in the front of the hips that's holding you in this position. And what's happening with your hamstrings is where they attach here at the bottom of your pelvis. When you're in this position, your hamstrings are actually being stretched tight. So in that case, you don't want to be stretching your hamstrings. You actually want to be doing things to help correct your anterior tilt of your pelvis. The other reason your hamstrings may be tight is because maybe you're sitting and driving a lot, or you're doing exercises that are causing your hamstrings to be held in a shortened position. Whatever the case may be for you, the idea I'm going to share is going to be helpful for either situation. So before we do the movement, we're going to just check in to see how our hamstrings feel. So stand with feet hip width apart, and you're just going to reach down to touch your toes or touch the ground. Okay. And I want you to just focus your attention on your hamstring area. How does that feel when you do that? What is the level of ease? And you could use a scale of 1 to 10. What does the tension feel like to you when you do that? Okay, so just try to connect with that and remember that, because we're going to check in after we do the movement. So the movement we're going to do, we're actually going to focus not on our hamstrings, but on flexing and extending the spine. Okay, and this is just to help give you a perspective of how other parts of the body play into, for today's sake, hamstrings. So you may be surprised with the results. So here we go. We're going to stand with feet hip width apart, put our hands on our knees, and let your knees actually bend. So that actually gives us some slack in the hamstrings. And then we're going to do a few things to really add benefit to this movement. We're going to think of pressing our hands into our thigh bones or knees, and also pressing our knees into our thigh bones. So as if we're trying to press them into each other that way, but in this position. Pressing my hands and knees into each other, so you'll feel your trunk muscles, your ab muscles contract there, okay? You also feel some of your lats contract, so we're causing a little sort of compression in the trunk. And then you're gonna maintain that as you tuck your pelvis in and tuck your chin down, and then arch your back up. Okay, hold that for maybe 3 to 5 seconds, and then slowly we're going to transition into arching the other way here. Okay, so I'm tilting my pelvis back. I'm trying to really bow my pull back here, and then I'm going to look up to the ceiling. All the while, I'm still pressing hands and knees into each other, just gently. Okay, try to maintain that pressure as you transition back to flexing the spine, and then slowly transition into extending. Okay, so I'm basically just bending my whole spine this way and then try to bend it the other way, just in a nice controlled manner. Okay, after doing that a few times, go ahead and check. How does this feel? Can I reach down, touch the ground a little bit easier, go a little bit further? Maybe your back feels a little bit more relaxed. So post a comment below and let me know how that goes for you. So here's to making moves that make a positive impact on your life. We'll see you next week.